For centuries, Africa has been seen as something eternal, the birthplace of humanity, the oldest inhabited continent on Earth, a massive landmass that has endured ice ages, asteroid impacts, and the slow march of time itself. Empires rose and fell on its soil, oceans shifted around it, and climates transformed it again and again. To most of us, Africa feels permanent, immovable, unchanging. But deep beneath its surface, hidden from human eyes and unfolding at a pace so slow it feels invisible, Africa is tearing itself apart. Not metaphorically, not politically, not symbolically, physically, geologically, relentlessly, Africa is splitting into two continents, and it has already begun. This is not science fiction. This is not a future prediction based on imagination. This is happening right now, beneath the feet of more than 1 billion people. A crack hundreds of kilometers long has already appeared. Earthquakes shake the land without warning. Volcanoes rise where none existed before. Entire regions are slowly sinking, while others are being pushed upward by forces so powerful they reshape the planet itself. What we are witnessing in Africa is one of the most dramatic geological events on Earth, the birth of a new ocean and the death of a continent as we know it. To understand what is happening, we must first look far deeper than the surface, deeper than mountains, deeper than magma chambers, and deeper than time itself. The story of Africa splitting begins not millions of years ago, but billions, back when Earth was still young, violent, and unfinished. The planet we live on is not solid in the way we imagine. Beneath the thin crust we walk on lies a restless interior, divided into massive tectonic plates that float atop a semi-molten layer called the mantle. These plates are constantly moving, drifting at speeds as slow as fingernails grow, yet powerful enough to create oceans, mountains, and continents. Every earthquake, every volcano, every shifting coastline is the result of these hidden movements. Africa, like every other continent, sits on one of these tectonic plates, the African plate. But unlike most plates, Africa is not stable. It is being pulled apart from the inside. At the heart of this continental breakup lies the East African Rift system, one of the largest and most complex rift zones on Earth. Stretching over 6,000 kilometers from the Red Sea in the north to Mozambique in the south, this massive fracture cuts through Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Malawi, and several other nations. It is here that Africa is quite literally breaking in half. What makes this rift so extraordinary is that it is happening on land, in real time, where humans can observe it. Most continental breakups occurred millions of years ago beneath ancient oceans, hidden forever from view. But in East Africa, the process is exposed. Cracks open in the ground. Roads split apart overnight. Villages find themselves divided by newly formed fissures. In 2005, a series of earthquakes in Ethiopia ripped open a crack over 60 kilometers long in just a few days, an event that shocked geologists around the world. What normally takes centuries happened in less than a week. This was not an isolated incident. It was a warning. Beneath East Africa lies a massive upwelling of hot material from deep within the mantle, known as the African superplume. This superheated rock pushes upward against the crust, thinning it, weakening it, stretching it until it begins to fracture. Imagine slowly pulling apart a piece of warm clay. At first it resists, then it thins, then cracks appear, and eventually it splits into separate pieces. That is exactly what is happening to Africa, on a scale measured in continents. As the crust stretches and thins, magma rises closer to the surface, feeding volcanoes and creating vast lava fields. This is why East Africa contains some of the most active and dangerous volcanoes on the planet, including Mount Nyiragongo, famous for its fast-moving lava lakes, and Mount Erdeo, one of the few volcanoes on Earth with a persistent lava lake. These volcanoes are not random. They are scars, symptoms of a continent under stress. At the same time, massive fault lines are opening, forming deep valleys known as grabens. The Great Rift Valley is one of these features, a dramatic landscape of cliffs, lakes, and plains formed as the land collapses inward. Some of the deepest lakes on Earth, such as Lake Tanganyika and Lake Malawi, exist because the crust has sunk thousands of meters as Africa stretches apart. These lakes are not just bodies of water, they are geological fingerprints of a continent tearing itself in two. But what exactly is Africa splitting into? The answer lies in tectonic plates. The African plate is not a single, unified block. It is gradually separating into two distinct plates. the Nubian Plate to the west and the Somali Plate to the east. The Nubian Plate carries most of Africa as we know it today, while the Somali Plate includes parts of Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, and the Horn of Africa. These two plates are drifting away from each other at a rate of several millimeters per year, a pace that seems insignificant, yet over millions of years will completely reshape the planet. If this process continues, and all evidence suggests it will, East Africa will eventually detach from the rest of the continent. Seawater from the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean will flood the Rift Valley, creating a brand new ocean basin. Countries like Somalia, Kenya, and parts of Ethiopia will become a massive island continent, separated from mainland Africa by an ocean that does not yet exist. This is how continents are born. We know this because it has happened before. Around 200 million years ago, all continents were joined together in a single supercontinent called Pangaea. Over time, Pangaea fractured, forming the continents we recognize today. The Atlantic Ocean exists because Africa and South America slowly drifted apart, allowing seawater to rush in and fill the gap. The same process is now repeating itself in East Africa, following the same geological rules, driven by the same planetary forces. But there is something uniquely unsettling about watching this happen where people live, work, and raise families. In Kenya, farmers have watched cracks tear through their fields. In Ethiopia, highways have split apart, forcing engineers to rebuild roads again and again. Entire regions experience frequent earthquakes, some small, some powerful enough to damage buildings and infrastructure. While most of these quakes are not catastrophic, they are constant reminders that the ground itself is unstable. And yet, the greatest changes are still far in the future. Geologists estimate that it will take between 5 and 10 million years for Africa to fully split into two continents and for a new ocean to form. On a human timescale, that feels like forever. But in geological terms, it is the blink of an eye. Dinosaurs walked the earth longer ago than the time it will take for Africa to divide. Still, even before the final separation, the rift will continue to widen, deepen, and reshape the landscape. Volcanoes will grow more frequent. Earthquakes will become stronger in some regions. Lakes may drain or merge. Rivers will change direction. Ecosystems will adapt, or disappear. The geography of East Africa will never be the same. This slow destruction is also a form of creation. As the land fractures, it creates new habitats. The Great Rift Valley is one of the most biologically diverse regions on Earth, partly because its complex terrain creates isolated environments where species evolve independently. Many scientists believe that this geological instability played a key role in human evolution. The shifting landscapes, changing climates, and fractured ecosystems of East Africa may have forced early humans to adapt, innovate, and survive, shaping the species we are today. In that sense, Africa splitting apart is not just the story of a continent breaking. It is the story of Earth constantly reinventing itself. But what does this mean for the future of humanity? In practical terms, the splitting of Africa will not suddenly destroy cities or sink nations into the sea within our lifetimes. The process is slow, measured in millions of years. However, the increased geological activity associated with the rift does pose risks. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and ground instability threaten infrastructure, water supplies, and lives. Governments and scientists must monitor these changes carefully, planning cities and roads with the understanding that the ground beneath them is moving. In the far future, long after modern civilization has changed or disappeared, a new ocean will shimmer where grasslands and valleys once existed. Coastlines will form, ocean currents will shift, global climate patterns may be altered. A new continent will appear on maps that have not yet been drawn. Africa, the ancient heart of the world, will become two. And perhaps the most humbling realization is this: Earth does not care about borders, nations, or human timelines. Continents drift, oceans open and close, mountains rise and vanish. What feels permanent to us is temporary to the planet. We are witnesses to a process far larger than ourselves, a reminder that the ground beneath our feet is alive, restless, and always changing. Right now, somewhere in East Africa, the Earth is quietly pulling itself apart. No explosion, no warning, just slow, unstoppable motion. The birth of a new world has already begun, and we are living at the very beginning of it.